So welcome to this year's virtual Key Stage 4 Achievement and Information evening. Although I will try to keep it as brief as possible, I do want to share as much information as I can, answering some of your questions and addressing concerns that you or your child may have had in recent weeks. I'd like to start by revisiting the school's new mission statement. It reminds us that we are a Catholic school, a pilgrim school, and we carry on our journey with Mary to become the person God intends us to be. We always start with a prayer, and tonight is no exception. So, today, Lord, I will be the person you intended me to be. I will be the best I can possibly be. Amen. I want to state very, very clearly that I feel very proud of what Year 11 have managed so far. You've been amazing, achieving so much already, and I hope you've got a real sense of pride for what you have managed to do. I also want to thank you as parents for your support and how you helped during lockdown to ensure your son or daughter made progress during the most demanding of situations. We are indeed all in this together and will continue to be in communication until August and maybe even beyond. But I want to reassure you that we will work together and we will aim high. We don't have long left until exams, we know that, but we've enough time to cover what we need to. I've included some exam questions in the presentation which may test your knowledge as well. You might even enjoy revisiting Pythagoras or prefer conjugating irregular present tense verbs in French. Enjoy it. I will mention growth mindset. I'll highlight the use of GCSE Pod and other online resources. I'll also suggest other ways you might help, like ensuring there's enough post-it notes in the house and flashcards to make revision easier. The pre-public examinations, or mocks, if you've heard enough about PPEs, will be going ahead just after half term, and a lot of work has gone into making these possible in line with current health and safety measures. We're also in the process of arranging how best to use catch-up funding to ensure that we supply the right kind of intervention and support where it's needed. Obviously, everything is happening on a day-to-day basis at present. We've got to be flexible in case of all eventualities, with contingency plans in place. So, the good news, we are open. We are actually in a very fortunate position. Despite missing members of staff and some students as well, devastated by having to spend extended periods of time at home, the vast majority of us are here and making the most of every lesson. It is hard, as we know, especially if a staff member is missing, but they are setting work from home and are communicating with students who have questions to ask. Now, one maths and one English exam will take place before the May half term, giving any Year 11 pupils who are affected by COVID-19 the best possible chance of still sitting a paper in each of these core subjects. The government will engage widely with the education sector over the next 6 weeks to identify any risks to exams at a national, local, and individual student level. They'll consider measures needed to address any potential disruption. This could be a student unable to sit exams due to illness or self-isolation, or schools affected by a local outbreak during the examination season, meaning that centres cannot open. More detail, as we know, will be published later in the autumn to ensure students have confidence that they will be fairly treated in terms of assessment in 2021. Following a public consultation earlier this year carried out by Ofqual, there will be no further subject level changes to exams, and assessments will be made for GCSEs, AS and A-level. There have been some changes made already. Please do speak to subject teachers if you want any further information. In addition to this, £1 billion of COVID-19 catch-up fund will help to tackle the impact of lost teaching time. The programme includes a £650 million catch-up premium to help schools support all pupils and £350 million in national tutoring programme for disadvantaged students. So, 121 school days. Bring on tomorrow, I say. We're talking here about the days left until May the 19th, the possible first date of the exam season. That's plenty of time as long as we use it wisely. So these are examples of past paper exam questions which you may or may not have looked at during lessons. Pay particular attention here to the number in brackets, telling you how many marks each question is worth. You'll clearly need to make 3 separate points of information for a 3-point question. and you can't write the same thing twice. Make sure you do include evidence of how you work out the answer for certain questions. So, take a deep breath. Take a sip of water before tackling anything like this. Ensure you've left plenty of time to construct your answer, check what you've written, and add details accordingly. Ask yourself what evaluate means. Look at the argument from both sides, in other words. What evidence have you got to support your opinions? Can you insert relevant quotes when you need them? Again, have you left enough time in the exam to check your answer? Look at the clock. Use the clock at the front of the room. I am reminded regularly that acted is not, and never will be, a 6-letter word. Did I crack under pressure? Yes, I did. Have I learned from my mistakes? Yes, and I will continue to pass the message on to students. Growth mindset. This is an idea we've used for a couple of years now. It was developed at Stanford University by Carol Dweck. This is the belief that your ability to learn is not fixed. This ability can change with effort and hard work. We can all continue to get better at what we do and continue to improve. But to make progress requires us to try and can often result in failure. But we've got to understand that failure is not a permanent condition. We learn from our mistakes, we respond to feedback, we will improve. And this success, we know, will only come with hard work. There are obstacles, there are challenges, and we've got to overcome these if we want to succeed. We want our students to go the extra mile, take the initiative, and develop the resilience that they need. So, we want you to try and reinforce the same messages at home. Building resilience, having faith in their belief. We know that these students have high challenges, and we want them to focus on improvements they can make between now and the end of the school year. What messages do we need to tell them? We need to ask them what they're missing instead of saying, I'm not good at this. We've heard it 100 times. We don't want students to give up. We want students to adapt different strategies to their learning. Plan A? No, it didn't work. Okay, so what about plan B? Let's encourage, let's develop, and let's think about what we can still do in the time we have remaining. We can definitely use GCSE Pod. This is a website, students might have shown you this already. Well, it allows pupils to access short subject-specific videos called pods, which cover the whole curriculum, and these have been selected especially to reflect the curriculum content or the specifications set by the exam boards that we use. These have been made easier now, so you can access them on your phone, on your tablet, and we hope that they will encourage the students to become more independent with their learning. What have they used so far? Have they used mind maps? Have you got post-it notes around the fridge already? If you have, fantastic. These are ideas. They might work, they might not. But creating notes, creating flashcards, posters, mind maps, there are several ways that your child can learn, and they have to differ and experiment with these. See what works well and pass it on to a friend. It might work for them as well. By now, you might have a revision timetable. It might be the case that you're on version 3 or 4. There's nothing wrong with that, and it will help enormously to know how you get the best out of yourself and the time available to you. It is so easy to forget comfort breaks, and even easier to be distracted by your phone. So, lock it away for a while, then treat yourself to time with friends afterwards. It is doing you and them a huge favour. Several ideas here just to look at. Have you tried them? Could you try them? Might you try them this weekend? It will be very, very good for you, obviously, to look at what works and what doesn't. Audio recordings, learning subliminally. Give it a whirl. Intervention, I mentioned before. Certain students will be selected for mentoring by St Mary's staff. This is separate from the COVID-19 catch-up funding. But what we're looking at here is what's worked in the past. to intervene at the right time and provide ideas that your child might benefit from in the future. These have been informed by Key Stage 2 data, and your child has been in the school for a long time since then, and things have changed. But again, we are aiming high. There is a particular focus on English and maths, but again, other subject teachers have suggested students that they would like to mentor in the lead up to the exams. Mr. Priestley has mentioned to me that the information will be sent out on the 17th of November. It will be a virtual presentation, similar to this one, but I believe that they are using a professional promotional video as well. We are running the St Mary's Air War Football Academy, being trialled this year, and this will be bigger and better, I'm sure, next year. Mr. Priestley knows from teaching some of you, from seeing you around the corridors, that you are fantastic as a year group, and he's looking forward to welcoming you into the sixth form community as from September next year. We haven't yet got the final timetable for the exams. It is provisional at the moment, and as soon as we get it, we will be putting it on the website so that you can have an overview of when the exams will be taking place. The inclusion team will be helping, as they always do, and we will be looking at developing for each pupil in the lead up to the exams. We'll be working with the students, we'll be working with you, working in unison to get the best out of every student that we have in the school. We'll be working with the learning mentors, Mrs. Findlay, Mrs. Harrison. Careers guidance is provided from Miss Rutter. Maybe your child has already had a careers interview. Maybe they're in need. Do please let us know. Mrs. Jennings has heard from several people already and will be continuing to be in communication with you. Do let her know if any provision is needed. The inclusion team working together again, and your form tutors, what a fantastic bunch of people they are. You'll see them on a regular basis, not during the mock exams, but in the time we have remaining, they will be speaking to you about how you are getting on, because you are indeed our priority. And who knows, will the exams be going ahead? At the moment, yes. This time next week, things might be different. We don't know. But at least we can be proud of the way that we've prepared ourselves. We're immensely proud of the way we've worked together. We've learned so much. The difficulties that we've had, these times will not be repeated, surely, in our lifetime. But hey, we can all look at each other and say, did we help? Did we do our best? Can we be proud of ourselves? We should have our heads held high. If you do have any more questions, please do get in touch. Send me an email. There might be little bits in the presentation you do need to revisit. But what I will say to you is good luck with absolutely everything. It's a pleasure to see these people coming through the door on a daily basis. And let's aim high, let's do our best, and let's achieve what we can in the remainder of the year. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.